Welcome to deleted scenes. In the interest of disclosure, we have included even minor cuts like this, which establish the Charger again and establish Segura again beneath the helmet, but they destroy the rhythm of the sequence, so out they go.
Never missed them.
Never missed them. Now this was the part of the car.
Well, this is the movie.
This isn't the movie, but there is a change of the music and the mood. It was originally meant to be more sentimental and show Prague, and it became like a tourist, the tourist board of Prague.
It was like
showing, he drives around.
Like a Suntory Scotch ad.
Yes, like
after a long day.
After a long day, you deserve. And here he almost crashed. So, I compressed it. Whatever got in the way of the rhythm and the flow of the movie, out it go. This was not a movie to be patient with.
No, these were all very humane cuts with the audience in mind.
But hey, look, you guys can look at them and see the different incarnations. For those of you rascals that are the filmmakers of the future, you may either puke on it or learn from it. I don't know.
Or both.
But the fact is, you're going to have 25 minutes of this crap, and we're going to talk through it. So bear with us. Now, this is originally the way the sequence worked. I wanted just a transition between the night and the day. And, we had this beautiful flashback that was shot miserably.
This was at the end of the schedule.
This was at the end of the schedule, and it was shot in 2 hours. You can see some of this flashback in the title sequence.
This is Prague for Detroit.
Prague for Detroit. And the amazing thing about this is we had the original guy that was going to play the bomb that cuts himself was going to be, I said, could you bring me a guy that can play an 80-year-old arthritic beggar? And the Prague casting director brought me an 80-year-old arthritic beggar from the streets of Prague. And the guy couldn't move. So we casted this obscure character that was around on the set, was called Boopy 2. And he played the beggar. But the confusion was, who is Blade, the young guy or the beggar? Why is he having this flashback?
Why is Blade a vampire there?
Yeah. So at any rate, we opted for a more conventional flashback that you can now enjoy in the other disc. Now this, again, we have this was an extended choreography that I cut much shorter.
This scene went on
like, Zorro.
47 minutes.
47 minutes longer. And I cut this little piece here, because we kept dealing with them and they kept doing acrobatics and there was no real advantage on this. This was, again, more establishing stuff. We jokingly made this elevator sequence. We decided we better get them down a little faster. But I think this is illustrative of how you pick up the pace in the movie with taking out things that you may like for one reason or another, but that are extraneous to the flow of it, and help you tell the movie in a more efficient manner. We will also show you complete scenes that got lifted and the atrocious stories behind them, like this.
Oh, look.
This is Peter Frankfurt's fucking doing. Explain yourself.
That's not my hair.
This is Michael Bolton. Oh, no, it's Damaskinas. Sorry, this is Michael Bolton after a particularly long concert.
The backstory of this has to do with long, involved, spirited conversations between Guillermo and myself about the nature of the Reapers.
Being similar to Damaskinas.
How much we see them on screen, and then how Damaskinas, who's supposed to be kind of marbleized, and the Reapers, who are just supposed to be kind of albino.
I am laughing. Look at that fucker.
So I freaked out when I saw Michael Bolton here, and I said, "My God, he looks just like a Reaper," which, in point of fact, is right, because he is Nomac's father after all.
Well, look, the fact is, Peter said, "What if we try it with a wig?" And we tried it with a wig, and there it is. Fucking Michael Bolton.
I haven't seen this
Salieri on drugs.
I haven't seen this since that really humiliating day in dailies.
And when the dailies came out, I told Peter, "Hey, you like the wig?" And we took it out and never saw it again.
No,
But originally, let's say it again, it was designed without a wig. It was tried with a wig because Peter was being a pest, and then we removed it.
Look, but when it was
There we go.
apparent to me,
There it is. The whole point with Damaskinos was that he was kind of a Nosferatu quote.
kind of a Nosferatu quote.
And the wig made him look like a Michael Bolton quote.
Right, but I think for today's audiences,
Now, this,
well, he just pulled some of the reaction shots out of them.
yeah, we pulled out the reaction shots that established Whistler in a more dubious light and so forth. And this, actually, I will ask you to listen to this scene. There was supposed to be an echosonogram in this image, in the screen, and I like the biology lesson here. Listen to it.
Victims do not die from blood loss. They ultimately die from cardiac arrest. Their vestigial human heart strangled.
The whole point was to hear a little bit more of what vampiric changes occur in the human body when one gets bitten, and how a new biology takes over. And you were going to see all the organs here, but we took it out for expediency and cost. We didn't have the money to create the graphics, and we didn't have the time. This was actually a great scene for me. I really enjoyed this one, and it was part of the Whistler suspect.
The subtext, which basically got lifted from the movie, which was, did Whistler really...
Cured.
Was he cured, or was he still a vampire?
And I liked the quiet moment of him shying away from the sun. This was a moment that I had written into the movie and I enjoyed, but for expediency, we cut it out.
So we don't have the shot of him looking.
Oh,
at,
yeah, we do.
No, but of Norman's when he spits out his.
Yeah, it's coming out later.
Oh, okay.
Now this is just
that was one of my favorite scenes. that got cut
essentially
out.
a longer version of her coming into the corridor.
But we had that fabulous little vampire bopper who was chewing on a razor blade. And I kept saying, Guillermo, that's what the whole thing is. It's 16-year-old girls chewing razor blades in halter tops.
Peter, calm down.
Hey, well, you'd look at me like I was completely
I
berserk.
still do. Yeah. And look at this horrible little moment, which I was very glad to lose. Yeah, there we go. You know, you can see what the vampires do in those little rooms.
I just want to point out that nobody was clamoring to keep this scene, Guillermo.
Yes, of course. No, not even me. And we tried it again, like an hour later, and it didn't work still. Now,
with this fabulous gentleman.
This was this fabulous Czech actor.
Look, he's lovingly handling little bags of entrails.
I like that. I'll tell you the story behind this. This was supposed to be a cameo for Michael Jackson.
No. Michael Jackson was actually interested in appearing in the film.
And I wrote
this is what we concocted for him. And surprisingly enough, he wasn't available.
Yes. But when they said Michael Jackson wanted to appear in the movie, I said, oh, okay, well, I'll write a cameo of him fondling some bags of entrails, which I think is a logical, reaction that any director should have. And this
and of course, there's the famous typewriter pile.
The famous typewriter pile, which
This is your homage to
Cronenberg's Naked Lunch.
Naked Lunch. Exactly.
No, I just enjoyed
Judy
the
Davis is
idea.
actually underneath the pile of.
We hired her for
yeah.
that. No, but it was a nice little moment, and I like when she is entering the place. You see a shadow behind her, and then it's little Blade. But we felt.
Wait! Here's a moment of chemistry.
Love is in the air.
Wow! Come on.
Now this I like because you see the blades being served and all that. But may I have your attention, please, to see these vampires that. This was originally the establishing of the Reapers.
Three little vampires.
Three little vampires at the bar drinking their blood.
I kept saying to Guillermo, this is like the setup for a joke.
Yes.
You got 3 vampires at a bar.
So I had him use the mirror, which is a no-no with vampires, because they are supposed not to be reflected. But since in the first one they established that they do have a reflection, I went along with it. And they established that they saw the Reapers and the Reapers move away. But we reshot this scene and actually had them just appearing from different places at different times and so forth.
Goyer was like, he had me on the phone going, can't you get him to shoot it with 2 vampires instead of 3?
It's
like, get that. That'll make a big difference.
You know, I there's something I enjoy of this sequence, which was kind of fluid and kind of nice and showed you a little bit of geography. But, you know, we reshot it, and it was very fast to do, very fast to redo. And I think it works better in the movie the way it is.
All these kids were fantastic.
There were 400 kids in there.
We shot this scene for almost 2 weeks, and they all came back every day, and they were incredibly polite and fun to work with.
I must say that the extras in Prague are the best extras I've ever worked with. Now this is a longer version of the scene you have in the movie, and again, in the interest of rhythm, I took it out, and also because Damaskinos had a whole subtext and a whole backstory, which was that he had been human once. He killed all the people in the vampire cabinet and took over, but he has human origins, and he basically through politics won his place in the vampire elite.
But ultimately, that was confusing.
Yeah, it proved confusing to the audiences in the multiplexes, so it went out. But I like this line. Listen.
How many more are you willing to sacrifice?
Here we go.
Everyone?
Even your own daughter?
My dear, come on. That jar over there, it contains what was once my human heart. Only a fool would appeal to it now.
I love things in jars.
Yeah.
And I love
traveling light.
this longer introduction of the bloodbath and so forth. And once again, this is the longer version of this sequence, which is in the movie. And I think that it's interesting just to see the different ways you can edit the same scene and make it work within the structure and make it more or less fluid with the storytelling. I love this scene. I loved it in the long form, but you know, I'm just as happy. Yeah, Peter was all in favor of taking it out, and the most I did is to compress it into 15 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it is. But it was long. It was all of this. So I like my little Reaper. And I think that it was important to show the Reapers being pathetic and sad and give them that victim angle, aside from making them the prodigious and brutal monsters they are.
You always show great empathy for your monsters.
I like that. Look, I love this. Oh, this I love. Well, it's a shame it's out. It was just an extra...
Just an extra
Cringy.
little incision.
Cringe.
Simplified. Like supercharged.
All this added footage and even much more. I mean, we could have done a documentary about how to, sort of the alien autopsy equivalent with a Reaper, because it was so perfectly layered. We had every anatomical layer that should be in an autopsy built by Steve Johnson and his guys. And there was this young man, Lenny, who took care of all this scene, all the layering of this prosthetics and organs and all that seemed to get aroused at the sight of tissue. It was extremely unsettling on the set, and I think that it truly caused the libido of everyone in that shoot to go down like 3 notches, because Lenny seemed to like the scene a little too much. He was squeezing those pumps that move the organs a little too hard. He definitely got excited.
Trying to feed. You got 6 hours before sunrise. Be ready by then.
Hey.
What happens at sunrise?
Let's be real about one thing.
This is just a slightly longer version of the scene as it exists in the movie.
Remember to protect yourselves.
And it has an extra scene, which I actually liked a lot, and I'm happy it made it to this section, which is this. It's a mini quote of Kronos. It's actually a very simple two-shot scene, but it shows the progression of the injury.
Just a little more opportunity for goop, Guillermo.
I like goop. And there we go. And here comes another of the scenes that no one will miss, which is Chupa having a monologue.
Well, Matt will miss it.
Matt misses it, but no one else does. I actually kind of liked Perlman in this scene, and I like the idea.
It's a good scene.
I like the idea of it, but rhythmically, it completely swamped the movie down.
It's completely beside the point.
It was nice to see Anissa defend Blade and defend the position of Blade in the structure of the blood pack. But again, what doesn't flow goes out.
It's like a co-op board meeting. I mean, it's like the last thing that we needed to see was a little.
And it was very stiff. It was a very stiff scene. It was not shot with enough time, and it was a little bit hasty. And I mean, I was not very happy about it.
No, we'd already seen Blade establish his alpha dogness over the
In a better way, by the
yeah,
way.
exactly.
And I like this scene. This is longer than was in the movie, but I like this acid rain, this amber acid rain
I love the halation that happens with his
lamp.
his minor
This
lamp.
this is one of the things that come from shooting the scene without protecting the lens. As a thing you want. We didn't want the perfect image. I wanted sort of this documentary style feeling, and I asked them not to protect the lens and let the drops fall into it.
So how long you known Blade anyway?
And this is a longer introduction to this scene, which I deemed unnecessary visually, and we basically mounted over a shot of Blade in the prior scene with Nisa. Again, this is all trying to, if you have the patience, give you a little insight of what editorial decisions are made on the big type of cuts, big movements of structure in a movie.
We really got to do a doobie count with Scud. See how many joints he actually smokes in the movie.
I think he smokes about 12.
12, really?
Yeah.
You counted?
We kind of did because of the MPAA submission. I think he smokes about 12. But hey, look, he's,
Yeah, it's not strong stuff.
he pares it down. And this has a really neat little thing, which I hope is in. Let's see. There.
Yeah.
That's a bubble of smoke that he produced with his
Just a little
saliva.
a little bar trick that Norman has.
A little bar trick to pick up chicks.
I think that's how he actually
Picked up Helena Christensen.
ended up with Helena Christensen.
But at any rate, I liked it. I shot it, but it didn't end up in the movie. Now, here we go. the Whistler lines that everybody defended. A great insight into the character, which I think, I think that when a character needs to gain great Shakespearean insights into what goes on, this is the Whistler's.
You don't do it in Blade.
This is Whistler's equivalent to Be or Not to Be, I guess. This is Richard III's speech of the winter of our discontent. Listen carefully to these poetic and yet subdued words of wisdom by Whistler. Wisdom by Whistler.
Never underestimate the power of the pussy. One hair off of that thing will drag a freight train up a 3-mile grade.
Amen, brother.
Look, that's the most we got out of Donnie. His reaction to that line
Yes.
was
But at any rate, that was just an extended version of that. I deemed it completely wrong for the pace of the movie and for the moment in the movie we were at,
And for lots of other reasons.
for
too.
lots of other reasons.
You and Miss Muffet get a little cozy.
So, it changed, and I think that the version that exists in the movie is better. And if you are curious about Whistler's sexual politics and, all that kind of beautiful advice that he gives.
Not Chris's, by the way, because Chris actually refused to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's Whistler's.
Yeah.
Chris, God knows, is a Rhodes Scholar. God forbid he came up with those lines. Although I think he did.
No, not that one.
Yes, he did.
That was his riff on
No,
Goyer.
that's his ad lib, man. Chris, if you're listening, call in right now. The number is 1-800-LIVEL. And this is just an extended, an extended version. That's the way the movie deals with that transition. And it's just a slightly different version of the entering the sewers sequence.
They're leaning and looking.
They're leaning and looking. It's a little longer, and you get more of the geography of how the House of Pain connects through the tunnels and into a larger space. And I actually like the establishing of the space, but it took too long. And once again...
And once you were in, you lost the geography anyway.
Yeah. But here you go into the bigger area of the sewers. And I think, it's a better establishing. What we have is more economical. And this was, to use a beautiful word, underwhelming. So this is the Hall of Shame, which includes a beautiful feature that is called sperm removal. We'll soon arrive to it. Prepare yourselves for the experience of a lifetime. Courtesy of Peter Frankfurt and how prudish he is about his own bodily fluids.
Well, everything in its place, as they say.
It's,
Everything
Peter
in its
Frankfurt
proper
was
place.
the main instigator of sperm removal, which soon will arrive. Again, this is an extended version, different version than the one you have. This is a masterpiece. This
is a collector's item.
This is the only remaining thing of that 20-minute structure that I removed from the movie.
But look,
now listen to this dialogue and tell me if you don't want to remove it.
Maybe I do. Your security sucks, kid.
Where have you been, Whistler?
This is possibly one of the worst scenes ever shot in mankind's history.
But the thing that's really fun about this is, as you can see from the body language between Nisa and Blade,
Is there as much intimacy as between
well, it's post-coital. Blade's in his
Hugh Hefner.
his Hef outfit.
his Hefner outfit, and this was supposed to be the post-coital conversation.
Yeah.
How
This is
insane
saucy
that is.
stuff. Yeah.
And Whistler went and burned a DVD or a CD. This made no sense.
Y tu mama tambien. I mean, it's almost it was Cuarón-like in your
In the sexiness of it.
yeah.
At any rate, 20 minutes were removed thanks to me taking out that thing. And here comes a Peter Frankfurt request favorite.
Yeah.
This speech, a biblical speech.
This is good stuff. This is
I actually like this speech. It's one of the ones I had the privilege of
well, you have
forcing in.
it. You'll always have it on DVD anyway, Guillermo.
And I love the fact that he's eating grapes and talking about biblical stuff and then squeezing the grape in his mouth.
Look at this fabulous camera angle. Very in keeping with the rest of the movie.
Oh, fuck you, too.
The jizz.
Here's sperm removal. Go back to your DVD and see the copious amounts of sperm that were removed from this scene.
No.
Oh, God damn it. Look, Buckingham Palace, right there.
So we previewed the movie to a recruited audience, one of those
An irate groups of women.
strange where they have a focus
Look at
group
the sperm on the
afterwards.
window.
The women in the focus group pointed out that there was semen on the window.
And the guys like
sperm on the window, sploot.
There's no better way to close a deleted scene section than with a little bit of sperm and a goodbye.
I'll just say goodbye.